Good morning and welcome to Unity Way Church. We are so happy that you have decided to join us this Sunday, and we have a celebration in store for you. We are going to be doing an opening affirmation, and this is from July 3rd, 1942, and this is from Wings of Prayer. And Wings of Prayer is an email that I send out, one affirmation for prosperity and one for healing. But the one for this morning is, mind, nerves, and emotions are controlled by the dauntless Spirit of Christ. So this morning, I invite you to focus on these words again. Mind, nerves, and emotions are controlled by the dauntless Spirit of the Christ. Let's just breathe into that truth, knowing that we are right where we need to be this morning, that we are blessed, and that our mind and our nerves and all of our emotions are under the absolute control of the perfect and peaceful Christ mind, which is within each and every one of us. And that truly is our high thought that we will be holding this morning. We affirm there is only one presence and one power, God the good, the omnipotent. And we realize that when we focus on this Christ presence, this Christ mind within us, we are recharged. We truly are feeling the presence of Spirit in us and as us. So if you believe in that truth, if you would please join me with the affirmation that we use here at our church, or mantra, which is, thank you, God, and so it is, amen. The daily word. The daily word for today is, let go, let God. The affirmation is, I let go and trust the divine in me. And before we go into the daily word, I would just like to spiritually connect up from where you are right now and from our church here too, and also connect back to Unity Village where the Silent Unity Chapel is, and remind each and every one of us that since 1890, someone has been holding that light of illumination. And right now, someone is answering the phone. Somebody is returning letters that have been written with wisdom to those individuals, and people are also calling. So let's connect up vibrationally with Silent Unity and know that we are supporting them vibrationally in Christ understanding, and they are also supporting us here at this time because we realize in omnipresence there is no there or here. There is only the now moment. So we are connected up and we give thanks, and we also salute the individuals and the workers that have been working at Silent Unity since 1890. It's a great privilege. And now the daily word. When faced with a decision to make do, my thoughts turn immediately toward divine guidance. Or do I seek God's help only when all else fails? Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote that God, quote, loves to be used, and the more you use him, the more easily you use him, and the more pleasant his help becomes, unquote. God lives in me and expresses through me. All of the attributes of God are as near as my next thought. I release my attachment to limited human reasoning. I center my mind and heart on the constant flow of divine love, wisdom, understanding, and strength. In the divine flow, I find answers to questions. New possibilities for good emerge. I move forward with confidence. And from the Jewish scriptures, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 29. From there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and soul. Very famous passage from Deuteronomy. And I'd invite you to please join with me in our affirmation, which is, I let go and trust the divine in me. before we get into the talk, we have to have a little bit of humor, because humor is good for the soul. And I have a real doozy for you this morning. And it is some folks on an airplane, and the pilot comes over the speaker and says, "This is your pilot speaking. I'm working from home today." Can't make some of this stuff up. It is that good. This morning we're going to be talking about divine impasse. Each and every one of us as the Christ have the ability and the gift, because we are the Christ, to have and demonstrate being an empath. So we're going to be talking this morning about how we can use those attributes, which are 12 powers, but how being an empath truly can assist in not only healing our own life, but healing others around us. Because all true healers are empaths. But first, be yourself, everyone else is taken. And I think this is very, very important. Each and every one of us is a unique soul created in the image and after the likeness of divine spirit. We don't have to be a duplicate of somebody else. We don't have to be a clone of somebody else. We need to discover who we are and allow that Christness to emerge and show up, and we truly can have the life we truly want to have and experience. Empaths. Empaths are people who are sensitive to energies. They have the ability to sense what people around them are thinking and feeling. And if you look at the story in the Gospels of Jesus, Jesus knew what was going on. He could tell what people were thinking about him in his message. He also knew that people weren't happy with the message that he was giving, because he was truly giving a teaching that was not real legalistic, going through the priests and all the ceremonial things that the scribes and the Pharisees and truly the Sanhedrin at the time were wanting the Jewish people to be involved with. It was like form over substance. Again, empaths have that ability to sense energy. Interesting, too, that psychologists use the term empath to describe a person who experiences a great deal of empathy, to the point of sometimes taking on others' negative pains as their own experience. And we're going to be talking about that this morning. Being an empath, we have the ability to take on, to absorb negativity around us. But that's really, as the Christ, what we do not want to do. Because at that low ebb vibration, we're not going to be truly a healing factor in their life or our own life. As a Christ empath, we truly become empowered, and we can step forward into the true understanding that we're activating our 12 powers in our divine nature. A divine Christ empath, again, a clear spiritual vessel, that's us. We are a vessel. Our soul is a vessel. And we have purpose, and we purposely create and transmute the energy or light vibrations around us through the union of our body and our mind. This is how we heal ourselves. This is how we raise our vibrational frequency, so we truly can be an illumined Christ. Two phases to being a Christ empath, known as a healer. An empath is a healer, and I think this is very important for us to really focus on. We're all empaths, but as we go through this talk, we want to truly dial up our vibration to really allow our Christness to really shine forth, because we are here to be healers. Our co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, we classify them as healers, but Charles and Myrtle, if they were here today, even though we have Papa Charlie here, Myrtle's in Silent Unity, but even if they were here today, they would say every soul has the ability and the power and the gift to heal. We all have it. We all have come in with that innateness within us. Highly sensitive people also can perceived as sometimes as it's a weakness within us. Or sometimes we can feel that if we're on that low ebb in frequency, that sometimes we can think of ourselves as damaged goods. When we are in a state of deep depression or frustration, that is really when we're thinking low of ourselves. That's when our vibrational dial is turned down. That's when we need to refocus, rethink, re-image what we're truly allowing to go through our mind, so we can amp up the energy within us, so we truly can be a Christ empath. because we're not here to be the atom. The atom mind still believes in duality of good versus evil, and that's truly what we're not talking about. Our society knows and has become very dysfunctional and truly emotionally disabled. We need truth healers. We all have the ability to be a Christ empath, and we need to tap into this gift within us and share this gift, healing. And healing doesn't necessarily mean that you go around doing proclamations and speaking. It's holding that sacred space, holding that high watch and that high vibration. Do we engage in our natural healing understandings and helping? Do we really believe that we're healers? Each and every one of us have the ability to heal, to be a positive healer. There's also negative healers you could think too, and they are the ones always talking about negativity or focusing on the downside. But again, we're talking about how to keep our dial up, turned up, so we truly are not only illumined for our own life in the experiences and the purposes that we're living for, but we can share those gifts with everyone else. All empaths can activate others, and again, we have this ability through believing in the divine presence. This is that one presence, one power. We all are healers. So let's engage in that high idea, and let's use the talents that our soul has given us. We can carry a higher baseline vibration that allows people to feel healed and good in our presence. Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was the teacher of the Fillmores, Ernest Holmes, and of all the real great New Thought teachers, she used to say that if you are engaged in a truth practice, you truly can just walk down the street and you can give off a healing vibration or energy and impact the people around you without even speaking, without even looking at them. It's the aura that we carry. And a person who is truly on the positive, realizing that they're Christ and that they want to share that divinity and see that divinity in other souls, has that vibration within them. So truly, being a healer doesn't necessarily mean we have to speak certain words. It means we have to be the words, we have to be the energy. We have to be at the highest frequency that we consciously can be. From 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 31, Paul says, I want you to desire the best gifts, so I will show you a much better way. Paul, many people don't realize this, Paul was a healer. People came to Paul to be healed. They would give him handkerchiefs, certain aprons, certain objects, and they take these objects back to where a person was sick. See, again, our gospel is full of healing stories, healing energy. And St. Paul would tell us it wasn't Paul that really did the healing, it was the Christ nature in Paul that was able to give these healings to individuals. As an empath, as the Christ empath, we want to adjust our own default programming, which means by having a daily prayer practice, we can truly change some of the programming, the default programming within our own hearts and our own minds. We all have work to do. Like the daily word said, let go and let God. What you do is you're letting go to the little so you can truly be in the presence of absolute good. Doing too much, I think we have to remember too, we can be overwhelmed. We can be stressed out. We truly can become irritated, and we can also experience a draining of our own energy. One of the important things of being an empath is knowing where your energy level is, where you are right here, right now, in this moment. And if your energy isn't really at the highest level, then you know you need to step back. You need to make sure that the reservoir of energy within you truly is at its highest level. And we all know even a well has to be, it gets refilled with water through time. So being a Christ empath means that you have to know your cycles. You have to know when you're full and you truly are on the mark, or maybe you need some more time in prayer. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we do live in a world of ebb and flow, and our energies can shift and change. We need to start setting energy boundaries. So important. Where are your life boundaries in your life? I don't care if they're family or friends. Where do you draw the energy lines around you? Because they do affect your aura. And if we're in a situation, again, where we feel our energy level is not as high as it should be, maybe we should go take a walk, take a breath, maybe take a couple breaths, put ourselves back into center, because we are human beings. We are divine human beings, and we need to know where we are energy-wise. Energy-wise, not only consciously, but energy-wise, because that's how we show up. And anyone who has studied the law of attraction knows that the law of attraction is based on energy levels. That, again, that's another way of saying that we're all empaths. We have this energy ability, and we really want to be anchored in the truth that we are the Christ. So again, empaths are sometimes people, sometimes the world can tell us that people who get drained or don't like being around certain crowds, sometimes they realize that the stories that are being told are what's really draining. What stories do we tell ourselves of lack or limitation? Maybe we need to let those stories go. Let go and let God. Really, a good affirmation for this talk this morning is let go and let God. Let the Christ within us truly allow us to be the empath we have come to be. And again, from Paul, and this is from the epistle from Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 15. Be very careful how you live. Do not live like those who are not wise. And I love this. Live wisely. Living wisely is remembering who we are, but also realizing that we're still in human form. We still are flesh and blood, even though it is divine, but we're still human. We are not a piece of a stone or something. We are a living, breathing organism, and we have incarnated into this dimension to live and to feel. And as an empath, we have the ability to be a feeler of negative energy or positive energy. It's up to us to choose what energies we are going to allow ourselves to be saturated in. But as empowered empaths, we understand that we have the abilities to interact with other forms and different levels of consciousness and energies. And we've all done this. You've been at a party or you've been with a group of people, and one person comes in negative. It affects the entire group of individuals. You're an empath. You wouldn't pick up that negativity if you weren't an empath. Empaths are all of us, not just a special chosen few. We all have that ability. So the prevalent consciousness truly is the one where we interact and know that we've done our spiritual prayed up work. See, having a prayer practice allows us to know where we are energy-wise. And when you have a prayer practice, it's kind of like missing the opportunity for going for a walk every day or going to the gym. You feel like somehow you've been cheated. And I think it's very important for us as individuals to monitor, again, our energy levels. And of course, our energy levels are going to be controlled by the thoughts, the feelings, the images that we hold on to. And a lot of them can come from subconscious programming states that bubble up. Kind of sound familiar? We're all in this journey together, which is exciting, but we in truth truly feel that we have the ability to change. We can enter a new life chapter. Why not do it this Sunday? From Rick Warren, we have this wisdom. You don't have time for everything. One of the falsehoods, I believe, as Christians and as people on the spiritual path, we believe there's time enough for everything. There is time enough for everything, but we have to be in the right space. Maybe we didn't get enough sleep last night. Maybe we need to go out for another walk. Whatever it might be, we need to be monitors of the time that we have. So when we are where we are in our journey, that we are truly present. One of the things I think is kind of sad is being in a conversation with somebody or trying to have a conversation with somebody, which we've had this experience before, where they're not really present. And you get that feeling that they really don't care. See, that's being an empath again. We can pick up that energy, which means we need to be very self-reflective where we are, the groups of people that we travel in, but again, also being anchored truly in our Christ nature. We need to accept and we need to work through our own mental garbage. When we work through our own garbage, letting go and letting God, we truly free up energy within our own subconscious minds. We have all the energy that we're ever going to receive. We received it when we had this incarnation. But a lot of us have trapped energy in our subconscious mind, trapped in negative states, trapped in forgiveness states that we have not really agreed to forgive the individuals. That energy is trapped within us. And as an empath, we have the ability to monitor whatever those experiences were, come to terms with them, truly letting them go so we can reclaim that energy, because it's the energy that's trapped in unforgiveness states that really pulls our overall energy level down. And this way, when we can take that energy that's been trapped, we can use it to help push us up to a higher level, to truly live in the Christ consciousness. The good news is God doesn't expect us to do everything in a hurry, rush. Take a breath. Take 2 breaths. Let's be in the now moment. Tomorrow will come. The past is gone. Let's live in this now moment. Let's be present. Let's truly be the empath we've come to be. It all comes back to a soul-centered state. Are you centered in your divinity? Do you believe that you're divine? Do you truly believe that you're divine? What does divinity mean to you? What does it mean that you have 12 powers? Those are very important metaphysical ideas that we teach in Unity, but more importantly is, what do they mean to you? Because they do affect your energy level. They affect our energy grid. They affect our aura. And whether we want to admit it or not, that is the energy that we're broadcasting. And some of us are broadcasting material and channels and energies that really are not our highest, truly not our highest level of vibration or understandings. We can change that this morning. Again, by letting go and letting the God essence within us truly allow us to be on the frequency of healing and healing and healing. Not only ourselves, but others also. From the Course in Miracles, we read, I see no neutral things because I have no neutral thoughts. Take a deep breath. In metaphysics, the universe around us is neutral. We choose how we're going to respond or react. If there's nothing you get out of this talk, this truly is a thought. This is truly the nugget, the gold nugget you really want to hold on to. The world around us is neutral. It's how we're showing up, how we're responding, how we're going to react positively or negatively. And this affects our energy grid. Powerful thought. So what's happening is the world's not doing it to us. The world is not shaping us unless we allow it to. Now, the Adamic mind that believes in good versus evil, it does allow the outside world to shape us and form our opinions. But as metaphysicians, we're not victims. And one of the first things about being a metaphysician is releasing being a victim or victimhood, so we can control truly how we want to show up. We see no neutral things. All thoughts have to go through our consciousness. So what are you thinking this morning? Are you thinking good, happy thoughts? Or are you thinking mixture thoughts? It's not one of the best days, or it could be a better day. You individually and your consciousness have the ability to choose the thoughts that you want to dwell on. The thought comes first. Remember this, the thought comes before the feeling. Many times we feel the feeling comes first. That's not true. In metaphysics, the thought comes first. And that happens very quickly. The thought and the feeling are merged together. But we need to control the thoughts. We need to control the images that we allow ourselves to hold on to. Because remember, in Unity, you've heard this phrase, every thought is a prayer, which means some of the prayers that we're praying are negative, and they're not helping our energy grid at all. And what they're doing is they're weighing us down. We need to let go and let God. The world thinks differently. As true students, we need to think accurately. Are you an accurate thinker? Do you think with a purpose? Or are you a hodgepodge? Are you a hodgepodge of this and that? Maybe this Sunday and this upcoming week, you can go through the thoughts. You can go through some of the states of awareness that you have, the beliefs you hold on to, and maybe some of them need to be strengthened, or maybe some of them need to be re-examined and really released. I'd like to share with you a story, and this is a true story, and it's about harnessing shadow energies. Divine empaths routinely experience both polarities of love and negativities. Before Jared, this is a true story about Jared, before Jared's first important spiritual ceremony, his mentor put him through a traditional tribal initiation ritual. Jared was led out into the woods in his shorts and with no t-shirt, and he was placed within a circle of rocks. The mentor asked Jared to focus only on the sun above him in the sky. Then the mentor opened a bucket, which was there, and started painting Jared's entire body with wet, runny green horse manure. Jared knew this ritual was coming, so he was somewhat prepared. I don't know how prepared you could be, especially for the smell. After about 30 minutes, his teacher sprayed Jared over with more water to spray it down and also get the manure paste wet again and runny again. But Jared did not flinch. The shining sun caused the manure to eventually start drying over his body. Yet, Jared focused only on the pine trees and the warm sun and the heat around him, and realized that the wet horse manure, as it was starting to dry again, was there, but he was not going to react to it. Soon, Jared forgot. He forgot he was covered with wet, stinky horse manure. There's a moral to this story. The moral is our shadow self. We all have manure around us. It's in our thoughts. It's in our subconscious minds. And we might not realize it, but that manure that symbolically that mentor put around Jared and painted on his skin was to remind him that people throw their negativities. People throw what their unhappiness on other individuals. And as an empath, a Christ empath, we need to realize to not respond, or respond in a different way. Our shadow self is really symbolically, again, what this horse manure represents. The healing motivator. You see, this horse manure in this ritual represents truly a motivation to heal thyself from within. We all have stuff that we need to release. And that's really what it means, because if you're truly going to be a spiritual teacher, you need to know where your own stuff is. Because what will happen, you just perceive it and we project it onto other individuals. When we're aware of our shadow self, and this is what we call negative energy as an empath, we can love it and use it as a healing, transmuting light. And we do this by accepting ourselves, giving ourselves some TLC, and truly be engaged in an active prayer practice. Now, do not worry. I'm not saying you have to go out to the horse corrals and put wet horse manure on you. But it's a great, great thought, because you see, it's symbolically what negative energy really is. It stinks. It stinks, and we all have some of that within us. We all have negativity that we can release to truly be the Christ empaths we have come to be. Madison Taylor says, in order to truly change you must give yourself permission to change. I can't change you. Jesus the Christ can't change you. Buddha can't change you. Yogananda can't change you. Moses can't change you. I don't care what master you're following. I don't care who you're looking up to. No one can change you, which means changing your energy frequency, except you and your own conscious mind. We have that power. Let's not allow that power to slip through our hands and allow someone to manipulate us, because we're not puppets. We are here to be an empath for the Christ consciousness. Let's do it. Let's truly shine. Are we perpetuating generations of not having enough? Have you ever said that phrase? I don't have enough. We all have enough. We all have enough positivity too, if we're willing to look for it, if we're willing to show up differently right here and right now. And I think one of the challenges is that we allow patterns from our youth, or when we're growing up, or through our college years, or whatever relationships that we have been through, we allow states of awareness to stick to us, like that manure that no longer serves us. We're not in college anymore. We're not teenagers anymore. We're not children where we whine to get what we want. I don't care how we twist our upper lip, or how we do our pouting scenes. We are here to be adults. And as a Christ empath, we need to claim that, because that is truly the healer within us, wanting to speak, wanting to help not only heal our own life, but also heal all our relationships. So let's be the ending point where negative cycles are truly exhausted and diminished, and most importantly, they're neutralized. Let's let all that horse manure run off of us. Let's let the negativity go. As a people and as a consciousness, we are much too negative. Look at the news, and during this coronavirus, we don't get news, we get commentary. It's commentary, that's not news. And a lot of it truly is not really being presented in a fair and balanced way. And we know that. So let's let go. We can see what's going on, but that doesn't mean we have to roll in the horse manure. No pun intended. The breaking patterns truly is overcoming false values that were imprinted upon us long ago. Again, we're not children anymore. We are adults. We should be mature spiritual beings. And a mature spiritual being has a prayer practice. I'd encourage you maybe this week to maybe say the daily word and pray with the daily word twice a day. Once in the morning when you wake up, and once before you go to bed. A simple act of a prayer practice like that can truly shift and allow us to truly clean ourselves from negative manure thoughts that no longer serve us. It's that easy. The key is if we're willing to do it habitually. Are we willing to do it constantly? I'd like to share an idea from Michael Smith. Ask the divine to clear away any discordant energy that does not serve the highest good, and then simply relax and let that process unfold. Are you willing to let the spiritual practice, the Christ unfoldment within you, are you willing to be engaged? Are you willing to allow it to transform your life? Truth is not about platitudes. Truth is not about how many books you have on the shelf. Trust me, I have a lot of books. They collect a lot of dust. It's only what's in the books, and when you read it and you allow that to absorb into your soul, that you truly can be who you've come to be. I'd like to share another story with you about how an empath reacts and shows up differently. Ruth, she was having chemotherapy and was making all her beautiful strawberry blonde hair fall out. And she realized that she had to cut the rest of her hair off. This afternoon, Ruth had a male nurse shave the rest of her hair, what was left of it. Ruth was tearing up as she saw the rest of her hair, her long blonde hair, fall all over the floor in the hospital room. Just then, the male nurse, who was just finished shaving off the rest of her hair, bent down in front of her and looked her in the eyes and said this thought: "You truly have the most beautiful blue eyes." See, that's what empathy is. That is what an empath does. Even though he knew that the hair was going to fall out, he brought this woman, this Ruth, back to the realization that regardless of not having her hair for right now, that she had beauty within her. Are you willing to be that person? Are you willing to bend down and stand in front of somebody going through a tough situation and look them in the eyes and say, "You're beautiful. You're stunning. You're more than this. And I stand with you as you travel through this journey." That's what a Christ empath does. That's what Jesus did. That's what Jesus would do. And it's really what we're all called to do too. From Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12 through 14. What God has said isn't only alive and active, it is sharper than any double-edged sword. The words and the feelings, the energy that we hold truly is a sword, and it cuts through. It cuts through negativity. It cuts through some of the manure that we've allowed ourselves to be painted with. We've allowed ourselves to be painted with manure that does not serve us. We need to let it go. We need to let that go. So what's an action step that we can take this morning? We need to befriend our shadow self. We all have places within us that we have forgiveness work to do. Let's do it this week. Let's stop talking about it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let go and let God and reclaim that divine energy within us. Because when we forgive, we are healed. And then we use that energy, we can shine it forth into all of our circumstances. Are you willing to try? Are you willing to examine your own shadow selves? We all, again, have areas in our life that need more spiritual work. And I'm not saying it's like cleaning the garage. You don't have to do it within one day. But take it in little pieces. Take it in little chunks. Take it in little slices. You could do it a little bit every week. It doesn't have to be done every day, but every week, re-examine. Think about some of the negative manure-like thoughts that we're holding on to. They don't serve us. And we think we hide them so well. If you have people in your life that are very honest, they'll let you know you're not hiding anything. They know they're there. But true healing has to come from within. No one heals us from the outside. Healing always comes from the within. So how about this mantra? I love and accept all parts of myself, even including my shadow self. You see, this healing practice will help us dissolve the shadow self within us and truly give us a new lease on life. We can do it. We can do baby steps. Sometimes it feels like we're crawling, but let's do it. Let's not put it off. Let's not allow our life and our aura to be filled with some stinky manure understanding that really plugs up our energy fields when we could use that energy for good. Emma Curtis Hopkins says, compel yourself to be faithful to whatever you promise to perform. Very important. Learn this principle. The good reigns. Whatever we're going through this coronavirus time. There is good in this situation. We know it and we affirm it. Whether we can see it or not, we affirm it and know it because we live in a world of absolute good. And if it doesn't appear like it's showing up, just like that, or the way we think it should, we still keep affirming it because we know by affirming it will bring the goodness out of any negative situation. So we need to truly allot time in our day to truly be different. Because that's what really a true student is, about being different. You're willing to be different this week. This is our life. This is our time during this incarnation. Ask yourself, is this the best that you can do? We can all do better. We can all strive for a higher vibration in our life. And I'd like to share a verse. This is from the book of Sarch, which is a book that was not included in the Protestant Bibles, but is included as part of the Apocrypha, and is part of the wisdom books of the Catholic Bible. And it is, in every good work, trust thy own soul, for this is the keeping of the commandments. Our soul is in control. This is the cockpit within us. Our soul knows what to do. We need to trust it. We need to listen to it. We need to be devoted to our own soul's unfoldment, meaning we don't settle for second best. We just don't go through life existing. We start living. We start allowing some of that sludge, that manure, to be cleaned off of us so we can show up differently. This very day it can happen if we're willing to do the forgiveness work. It starts again by asking, am I consciously showing up today as the best Christ empath that I know I can be? Take that into prayer and see what Spirit downloads to you. And from Ralph Waldo Emerson, men walk as prophecies of the next age. The world to come and the world we're living in, the future before us, is determined where we are in consciousness right here and right now. As spiritual empaths, we can use this fear truly as a motivator to change our lives, to show up differently, You don't need to have to go into a circle of rocks and have manure put on you. But we have the ability to look at that symbolically and see that we have places in our life, that need to be let go. We have ideas and images and patterns that we need to cut and let go. And fear is what keeps our shadow self moving. Fear is really faith in reverse. Put faith in the positive. Don't put faith in the negative. Put faith in the positive and see how it truly can transform your life. In closing, we are all Christ. We're all the Christ, so we all have this ability to be healers, to be an empath. Empaths for our own lives and the world around us. It is our privilege and it is our right to radiate out this newly claimed healing energy. So this morning, are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to roll up your sleeves and do the work to truly see where you're coming from today? That means you have to find what's yours. You have to develop yours. You have to develop your soul. Re-find the soul within you and the lessons that your soul wants to tell you. And the lessons you receive will be different from your next door neighbor, because we're all individually on a journey. It's an exciting journey. And as an empath, we are here to heal, again, not only ourselves, but the world around us. So again, whether you're a teacher, a coach, or a leader, let's assist others and allow them truly to be resilient. And a true resilient soul is one that knows that they have the ability to be an empath, a Christ empath. And that's using all of our 12 powers. So again, I encourage you to embrace yourself, embrace your divine nature, because each and every one of us have that ability to heal. That's what truly being an empathic person can do and should be doing. So use this nature to not only heal your life, but to heal truly the depths of your own world, right here and right now. Claim it, discover it, truly be who you have come to be. You are the Christ. It's time for you to start healing right here and right now this morning. Thank you, and God bless. This is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to share our love offerings, our gifts, and our tithes. And I would invite you to take whatever your gift may be, because you know it's energy. Put it in the palm of your hands. And invite you to close your eyes just for a second and put the empathic energy within you. Seed this gift with that energy. And we know it goes forth to bless this church, Unity Way Church. We know it goes forth to bless the Unity movement, Silent Unity, all the different activities that happen out at Unity Village. And then it goes forth into the world to bless the world. And we also know it keeps coming back to us, because we believe in the world, and we believe in this world right now deserves it more than ever before. We believe also in cause and effect. As we give, we always receive. So again, I invite you to join with us in this affirmation which we use at our church, which is divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive. And as we seal this gift, let's put our empathic energy into this gift, knowing and affirming and speaking to the energy that it goes forth to heal lives, starting right here and right now, and starting with your own soul. And if you believe that truth deeply, if you please affirm with me our mantra, which is, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. And now our prayer of protection. Again, I'd like to dedicate this to our entire country and our entire world and our planet. As we go through this time of uncertainty, let us be certain that we're the Christ. Let us be certain that we have the energy to heal our own lives. Let us be certain that we truly are Christ healers, because we have this empathic ability. We have this gift. Let's use it. And again, our prayer, this is our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Claim your healing gifts this morning and start healing your own life and all your relationships. Thank you, and God bless.